protection effects, immunity effects. I just want to add a quick note in pod and say, like, somebody said on Reddit that effects like Magna X is what's going to ruin this game and turn it into Yu-Gi-Oh! And I commented and I said I disagree, because we have so many effects that interact with your board, and they deal with your board. And go ahead, Mike.
So for me, protection effects are simultaneously the best thing that ever happened to Digimon and the worst thing that ever happened to Digimon, because it was so needed. Like, there was a point in BT9 when we first got the protection effects, and they were needed effects, right?
Yeah.
But because they were needed, it forced the game into this power creep cycle that we're at right now.
Right.
So, like, it's really
one
weird.
brings about. It's not just the protection though; it's removal too. Like,
yes,
one of those brings about the other. Like, we are past the age of. We got to that point in, like, BT5, because sure, Lord Knight didn't have a removal effect, but that entire deck's game plan was predicated on disassembling your board. And that was all the way back in BT5. Red Omni was literally get into Omni, pop your board. Maybe not pop your board, but that was a time in Digimon where you were lucky to have more than one Digimon, two Digimon on the field. So get into Omnimon, pop your stack. And that's been since the inception of the game. Like, protection effects,
counterbalances that always happens in the game.
Exactly.
That's always going to happen in everything.
Protection effects bring about removal effects, but removal effects bring about protection effects. Because Dan, like, when Dan said this, I was like, wow, I didn't even think of that. Tyrant should be like a fantastic deck, but its weakness is that it's unaffected by your opponent's Digimon effects. Forget about the fact that it has to be suspended. And forget about option effects. Davis and Ken affects it. And that's a big thing, because there is
Cody could go
no way to
Digivolve.
There is no way to play around the Tamer effects, because we don't have, this Digimon isn't affected by Tamer effects. I'm not saying that we necessarily should. What I'm saying is there are so many effects that interact with different things that immunity is a good thing. And be glad, and I am truly saying this, be glad that Magna X isn't just Mother D on the field. It's not just when this Digimon comes into play, this Digimon is unaffected. No, it's when it digivolves, it's unaffected. Sure, you can renew the protection, but you have to renew the protection by removing a security. And that's where the argument of, Blinding Ray and TK and things that remove your own security become unfair cards, because it allows you to circumvent what the intended design of the card was.
Yeah. I think they're
needed effects.
No, they are needed. And I think my biggest problem with, like, decks like Magna, and honestly, I don't really care about Magna this format as much as I thought I was gonna, because Nuemon became the big bad that we all, I feel like, collectively hate now. But like, my thing with Magna is, like, it's such a good card. Obviously, we've talked about it on the pod so many times. I don't want to beat the dead horse, but, like, having that, like, Omni protection from everything, Digimon options, everything, it's just unaffected, right? Having that, and then being able to play the best removal cards.
Yeah.
Like, ding, ding, ding
is the issue. But again, I don't really have a problem with Magna right now, because it's just
and here's other people's reasons.
So do many people, apparently.
Magna's problem, right, is that because Magna is such a gatekeeper deck, that the reason that Nuemon is so dominant is because Nuemon's the only deck that can consistently deal with a Magna X stack. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think even if Magna X wasn't in this format, let's say Magna X didn't exist for some reason, Nuemon to me will still be top dog, will still be quote unquote close to tier 0 deck, because there's no other deck in this game that's as fast as it, or that can do what it does on a consistent basis. They were saying, what's the decks that stops Nuemon that they're complaining about? I think it was Red Hybrid one time. Like, Red Hybrid, it's not going to be doing, it's not as fast as Nuemon, especially now current Nuemon. No way. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a hard point to say that the reason why Nuemon's so good is because of Magna. I think because Nuemon is so good, it's the reason why Magna is not as dominant. And I think I would prefer that way, honestly. That Magna is not the most dominant thing. I don't know. It's a weird ass situation we're in this format. Even though it's gonna be done in a couple weeks, this format. But like, I think even EX6, we're still gonna be seeing the same thing where Nuemon is top dog and everything else is second.
I'm with you.
Mike, hold on, Mike. Hold on.
Yeah.
You said something that, you know what, I have to agree with so much. I literally, you remember when I did this because you were like, LOL, feels bad or some shit like that. Remember when I texted, I hate Heaven's Judgment?
Yeah.
Do you know what had just happened to me? I was struggling. I was fighting for my life with Grace Nova, okay? And I left a level 5 on board with a Phyramon. It doesn't matter what it was. It was below 6K. And I was like, because he had a Magna X on board. And I was like, I can't swing because obviously he'll block. Right. So I was like, I can't swing. He also doesn't have a Patamon in raising. So as long as he doesn't have the heavens, I'm good. Of fucking course he had the heavens. But I was literally like, damn, Magna X is on board. I can't touch the Magna X. And he just played heavens. I think it was actually, as I texted you that, I think I literally scooped that turn. Because I was like, there's no, like he Digivolved the pattern raising. I was like, there's no way I can deal with a second one. You have the heavens in hand. There's no way that I can come back because you just wiped my board. Because -6, and then -6 again. And then you had an extra -6 in case there was an extra body to delete. Like, I hear a lot of people talk about Heavens shouldn't be banned because it's the only card that can deal with yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Listen, Leppy has not changed my mind on Heavens, but he has changed my mind on strong option cards. And I agree. We do need stronger option cards, and we're getting there. I will say it feels like we're getting there, where option cards are actually worth running. That being said, I feel like Heavens is just degenerate with 3-color Digimon. Like Nike 24, it's so demoralizing. I was like,
I just don't feel that Magna is not that it's that strong. Still a tier 1 deck, don't get me wrong, but like, if you take out Heavens from that, you don't have that instant thrill of being like, oh, you know what, my whole board that I just built that took 2 turns, I was waiting for Magna to not have that protection.
Yeah.
And now it's gone because he have his judgment. So what, he put me at 4. It doesn't matter.
Do you know what he did to me? You know what this fucking Plague Doc did to me? He had a fucking Ukomon out. That was his only Digimon.
And he still fucking
dropped the Heavens on me.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
toxic.
Of course, at that point, you know, it's the same as a Wyverns, but it's a Nike 6 and a Nike 6.
No, it's 12. Wasn't it Wyvern 15?
Yeah, that's not what I mean. It's a Nike 15 on one Digimon compared to a Nike 6 that can be on 2 different Digimon.
Yeah.
And I was still like,
so
and that's also like,
the
other options is like, to me, it's more fair. Like, all right, if you're gonna play a Wyverns, I don't mind you playing Wyverns for 15k for 8 cost, not a problem. I don't even mind you having to play Lonky because that means you have to have either or effect, or you need to be at 3 to get both effects. You know, Neg 12 and place a Digimon. Mm-hmm. And if you want to play, I don't know, anything else that's a yellow option that kills, not a problem. But the problem is Heaven's Judgment is able to do what it does. And that facilitates Magna X to be a stronger deck, in my opinion, because I don't even know why you wouldn't run at 4, right? You run at, I think they're anywhere between 2 to 4, right?
2 to 3,
that's what
generally.
I see. 2 to 3 usually. And then you just go, play other options that's super strong too. I would rather see someone go Fire Rocket on it. Swing 3 checks on spend, swing 3 checks. I think I would rather prefer to see that than someone doing a Heaven's Judgment on me. You know what I'm saying?
DG Dimension. I'll let you go in just a sec, Mike. DG Dimension is a card. Digivolve 1 and 3 your opponent's Digimon, and then delete 3 play cost 6 or less. But like, you could Digivolve a level 6 into a level 5 and not pop the level 5. You could Digivolve a level 5 into a 4, and you can pop the level 4 in another body. But then like, you're playing against a black deck, so you're like, okay, like I can kind of play around this. But like, when it comes to Heavens and 3-color Digimon, you do not play around Nega24. There is no world. Once that Magna X hits board, Nega24 is live. And that is just insane.
That's a crazy thought about it, yeah, for sure.
Go ahead, Mike.
The other option cards that I think that are like really strong, and so this format we're seeing a lot of people in Imperial play Giga Death. And
Yes.
Giga Death will wipe a whole board, right?
But it's conditional.
But here's the thing about Giga Death is you only get to suspend one Digimon, and everything else has to already be suspended. Also, it costs fucking 9. And I understand, like, you're like, well, Heaven's Judgment costs 7. Bro, that 2 memory fucking matters.
It
like,
really
making,
does.
making someone pay 9 memory for an option or making someone pay 7 memory for an option that wipes an entire board is important. And I'm not obviously not every time you play Heaven's Judgment is it going to wipe an entire board, because sometimes you're going to have to apply the negative 6k like twice or 3 times to one Digimon. But the fact that it has the ability to do that is insane. Like, I'm trying to think of other option cards that feel like total wipeouts. Like, only things I can really think of is like obviously getting like Hades Force when you're playing like a Hunter's deck, or like
DG Dimension, but like
old school fucking Ultimate Flare someone. Yeah, bro. Like Heaven's Judgment is by far just the absolute best removal option we have in the game.
It's a good, strong removal option, but I stand by the point that it really, really feels unfair and, honest to God, it's just so demoralizing. Like, even when I played against Dan, like back when 16 first dropped and he was playing Tyrant, I was playing Magna, I looked at his board and I looked at the Heavens in my hand and I was like, I'm so fucking sorry that I'm about to do this, because I felt that. Like, I saw what he went through to establish that board and I was like, I'm sorry that my one Digimon is about to allow me to take out your entire board.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. Like, if it was like that card for dealing with Tyrant alone, that's fair, because you can just do neg 6, 12, 18. But then it also takes out a level 4 body, the Kabuterimon, because that's a 5k. Depending on like what you run in your deck, it can take, like for Vaccine, for example. Vaccine's already doing DP negging. So Vaccine comboed with Rapid X, comboed with Heaven's Judgment. Bro, Heaven's Judgment becomes, if you only have the Rapid X on board, it's still weaker than a Magna X, but at the same time, it's stronger than a Magna X, because that neg 4 is just across the board. You might bring things under the threshold. So a 10k body is now 6. 12k body, you'd still have to do 2 to it, but like, this just, I don't know, bro. I
think my other issue, and Leppy also kind of put me on, we need stronger options. And I like that idea, because I'd like every deck to have a really strong option like that to fight back.
Yeah.
My thing with Heavens again, though, is DP minus as a mechanic is one of the most annoying, frustrating mechanics in the game.
Absolutely.
Because there aren't a lot of cards there aren't a lot of Digimon in the game, or a lot of cards in the game that can even deal with DP minus. So a lot of the cards that have protection right now, they still will all die to DP minus. The only cards that don't die to DP minus are cards that say can't be DP reduced. Like, that's it. And obviously, Magnamon X,
like 3 cards, and
Magnamon X can survive it
when it's on protection.
As long as it's not till the end of the turn. Like, it has to carry over to their turn, right?
Yep.
So like, every other card that has protection in this game, it does not. So like, there's so little. Like, I could think of, off the top of my head, Digimon cards, not option cards, like grant, like whatever. It's like maybe like 5 off the top of my head or something. 4, like, it's not a lot.
Yeah, it's Machinedramon, it's Metal Greymon X, and it's Doro Greymon. That's protected from neg DP.
Yep.
And I want to say that,
how many of those cards are meta relevant right now?
Cards 0. Like Breath of the Gods are cute, but when you start having DP negging that lasts until the end of your opponent's turn, well, Breath of the Gods mean absolutely nothing now.
And that's what Nuemon does.
And
exactly.
What deck could really run Breath of the Gods right now?
Magnamon?
Magnamon X could run Breath of the Gods.
And what's the point of doing that when you're protected for your own self?
Answer. How fucking stupid is that? So I just genuinely hate DP minus as a mechanic. And And
I'm with you there, bud.
like, I just like, what? Like, that's such bullshit. And even worse, Magnamon X, the only way to even really deal with Magnamon X is Nuemon, which deals with DP minus.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is that, bro? Like, I don't know. Like, that
It's
whole
so aggravating.
Catch 22, baby. That's
Yep.
what that was.
so crazy, man. I don't know. Like, that is such a ridiculous, like, way to go about it, is that it's the only way to really out a Magna X is by its own color. Pretty much.
Yeah, so to
Like,
say,
what is-
yeah.
Like, that's so crazy. And not even the Mira. The Mira doesn't even deal with Magna X. Magna X mirrors are literally fucking solitaire, where you just stare at each other until one of you
Yeah.
can't get protection.